is Annie Green, and this is my third speech for the Ron Paul Curriculum Public Speaking class. In a recent election, Washingtonians voted down a law that would require many food packagings to label if they were using genetically modified ingredients. If you do not know, a genetically modified organism is an organism whose genetic material has been altered using genetic engineering techniques. Some organisms that have been genetically modified include microorganisms such as bacteria and yeast, and also plants, mammals, insects, and fish. Genetically modified organisms can also be known as GMO, and GMO is found in more than 70% of foods sold in grocery stores. Last November, in the year 2013, Washington State made a ballot that would require many food packagings to carry conspicuous warning labels if the food contained genetically modified ingredients. The point of the ballot was to discredit crops that were using genetic engineering, or in other words, to red flag products, that had genetically modified ingredients. The Food and Drug Administration, or known as the FDA, says that there is no proven evidence that GMO foods are any worse than natural foods. So the scientists are pretty much saying to us, and here we have a bunch of foods that came from crops that made insects' stomachs explode. It's good for you though. But it makes me wonder, if this is what the FDA is claiming, then how can they explain why so many of the rats they are feeding the GMO food to are getting cancer and growing so many tumors? The opponents of this law are saying that it would just be best if food companies voluntarily chose for themselves to label their food if they wanted to or not. So for example, a major food producer voluntarily labeled his ground beef that contained a filler material that looked like pink slime. And because of the pink slime, many of the customers really agreed that the product should be labeled. So now the material that is being put into this ground beef is going to be labeled as finely textured beef instead of pink slime. But unfortunately, after all of this, the law was not passed in Washington. As for my opinion, I strongly believe that the food producers should label their food packaging if it contains genetically modified ingredients. I know myself, as well as many other consumers, would like to know what is in our food and what we are eating. I do not want to become like the rats with the cancer and tumor and the insects with the exploding stomachs. However, a vast majority of society do not care what is on the label because they ask themselves, why should I care about this now when I've been eating it for so many years? A big grocery chain who specializes in healthy and organic food called Whole Foods is now requiring that all of their produce and food and everything that they sell in their store should be labeled if it contains GMO. Unfortunately, that will not be in effect until 2018, but it is a small step in the right direction. So in conclusion, I think that since the law was not passed in Washington, that the food producers should voluntarily label their packaging if it contains genetically modified organisms. Thank you.